Hi everybody and welcome back to Rayman Revolution. In the last episode we pretty much just explored the hub area, exclusive to the PS2 version, and in this episode we're finally exploring an actual level. Welcome to the Fairies Glade, the first proper level of the game in every version of Rayman 2. So the way onwards is blocked by a gate, so we have to take a little detour around. Luckily this single arrow on this mushroom is showing us that we can jump on top of it. It's a hint to show that we can bounce up. And grab hold of these vines on top of this big branch and use it to move over to this area. And the switch that opens the door is just above us there. I don't know if that's clear, but yeah, we're heading towards the switch that opens the gate right now. So, we explored the hub in the last episode, but in other versions of the game we have different... technically they're still hubs, but there's like more traditional level select hubs. Oh, I love the jazzy music in this area. Soundtrack of this game is great. But yeah, in other versions of the game we don't have the front as Rayman Revolution does. We have the Isle of Doors and the Hall of Doors, depending on the version you're playing. And the Dreamcast version had the Isle of Doors and also the 3DS version, which was a port of the Dreamcast version. And the N64 version, the PS1 version, and I think the PC version, and also the DS version, which was the port of the N64 version. It's all very complicated, the different versions of Rayman 2, but that was the Hall of Doors. I might show off some brief footage of what those areas looked like, just if I can. I do have the original PS1 version. I own like 3 copies of this game. I think I mentioned that in the last episode, but yeah, 3 different copies of Rayman 2, and they're all relatively the same. Head on up here and there's the hidden cage. There are 10 familiar spirits in this first level, which I think is the most out of any level in the game, so we can't actually 100% it on the first run because we need to return with various powers that we don't have yet. So yeah, let's dive down into the water because there are some hidden yellow lums down this way, I think. Yes. Catch the air bubbles to breathe. That's something slightly different in this version, I think, than... I don't know if any other version used the air bubbles, but I know at least the 3DS version. I own the PS1 version and the 3DS version, as well as this version, obviously. Otherwise I won't be playing it. But yes, I'm sure the other versions used blue lums to refill your air meter, and they were in limited supply, so you had to be quite careful underwater. But in this version, we can just... The air bubbles coming up from the ground are permanent, so don't need to worry too much about running out of breath if you can just swim through one of these. And not too fussed about if I miss any yellow lums on the first run through, because we have to revisit the level anyway later on. And if I do miss any yellow lums, then I'll be sure to find them in a revisit. Whoa, that was weird. This game is a little bit funky in places. I think it lacks a bit of polish technically. But yeah, it's a decent game for. Okay, so the weird thing about Rayman Revolution is that it was only released like a few months after the PS1 version, I think, and a year after the original version launched. So yeah, it's a completely like new experience. Also, a struggle to lock on there. Got to really hold down the L2 button. But yeah, so it's a weird. They added like so many things like the hub world, and they polished up the graphics a bit from the other versions of the game. Technically speaking, the Dreamcast version is the superior game in terms of graphics and frame rate. This game does suffer. Rayman Revolution particularly suffers from quite a few frame rate drops, so it's not perfect technically speaking, but it's the most complete version in terms of content. But it was only released a year after the other versions came out, so I thought that was just a bit strange that only and just a month, or I think it was a month after the PS1 version came out. So yeah, I didn't really need that red lum, but for some reason the barrel pulled me away from it. Okay, there's a hidden yellow lum under that land bridge there, and there are some other hidden yellow lums in this area, but we can't reach them because we need a certain skill, and they're hovering in the air, and there is a purple ring lum. And if you play the original game, you'll know about rings and what we can do with them. but we don't have the ability yet to access them. Anyway, on to the next, not really sure what to call it really. Maybe a phase or something. This level is split into phases. All levels split into various phases. And once again, another screen transition means it's going to ask me if I want to save, and the answer to which I say 9. Okay, on to the next phase. I might split this episode up into... I don't know where I'm going to split this episode, really, because the Fairies Glade is quite a long level. Also, we've got this freaky black... I think they're called caterpillars. But yeah, they constantly spawn out of this gap in there. I think when I was playing this game as a kid, I found them quite frightening. Because yeah, they are quite menacing and they slither towards you. They're sort of snake-like. But yeah, the furry caterpillars. And speaking of memories playing this game as a kid, I think this game is quite dark. Like in its theming as well. Like the residents of the Glade rooms have been enslaved by the pirates and thrown into prison, and there's a whole bunch of despair in this world. Compared to like the art style, which is, well, I guess there are some. Just looking at this tunnel real quick, like I can see that it's very whimsical. That's sort of the Rayman style we all know and love is whimsy. The original game particularly, but what the original game had that this one didn't is like bright colours, and this one seems like really dreary, and it's a very strange art style. I mean, it's iconic. Also, there's a cage up there that we can't get yet. And this funny thing here only appears in this version of the game, but we can't do anything with it just yet, so I have to come back for it. But yeah, this is just a weird clash of style, I guess. I mean, it's neat. It's all swirly in places. That's like these vines are all curly and like the clouds in the sky and the grey murky water. It's all got like this weird swirly style to it. It's kind of unique, but at the same time it's sort of kind of creepy, I must say. I mean, there are definitely some creepier areas later on. Anyway, another phase, I guess, done. Like, it's quite the phases are quite short. Maybe I'm just used to these levels, but if we're looking for everything, we have to revisit this level later on. So I guess that sort of extends its length a bit. And guess what it's going to ask me to do now? It's going to ask me if I want to save. To which I say, yeah, I don't want to save. Okay, suddenly it's night time. What happened there? I don't know. Okay, this pirate is a bit different because we can't actually fight this one, but he just tosses flaming kegs at us. That's a new one. Down this way there is a cage that we can hear, and I don't know if we can see it. It's up a general that direction. I don't know if we can get a lock on it, but there's nothing we can do over here just yet. This also requires a skill, but in the original versions of the game, the cage was like instantly accessible from the beginning. But no, in this version, we have to revisit the level later on. It's kind of a big pain having to revisit the levels, because if I recall correctly, there's no way of exiting a level once you've already started it. So yeah, you have to play through the whole thing again if you return to it. Also, the game hints that you should use your helicopter power here, returning from the original game, and one of Rayman's iconic abilities, but who needs a helicopter when I have precision jumping skills like this? Okay, now we have a climbable spiderweb surface. Watch out for the falling kegs again. Kegs are a big part of this game. The pirates seem to use them quite a lot, and they explode on contact. Okay, this is that tried to dupe you a bit there, because sometimes the left keg holder drops 2 in a row, so it's a bit of a cheap trick there. Is it going to do the 2 in a row now? Left and then no, okay. Oh well, I guess it's just random pattern. I need to hit the switch. Need to step back a bit. Hit the switch to turn off these laser doors, and another laser door. This time the switch is being guarded by a pirate, and also we have to go all the way around the room to reach it. There's some more lums down this way. Lums generally are all over the place in this game. Some of them are quite difficult to find. There were some I did in my test run that I really struggled with, but luckily I know what I'm dealing with now. I've made notes of where some of the really difficult lumps are to find. So yeah, I'll make sure not to miss them in this run. Okay, sleepy pirate, sneak on up and bam. Okay, didn't really matter in the long run. Oh, gosh. I gotta learn how to strafe properly. Yeah, you can sneak up on pirates, but it takes 2 hits to kill these green pirates right at the start. Okay, so, powder kegs. As I mentioned, they're a big part of the game, and we can carry it around with us. And if you recall in the last episode where we visited the magic well underneath the Teensy Circle to get some upgrades to our abilities, one of the abilities we could get was run with load, and that makes it so that you run faster with the load, like a keg, or there are some other items that we can carry on our shoulders, but kegs are the most common type, I think. Okay, and kegs are used to destroy these weird, I'm not sure what to call them really. They sort of look like mechanical bandages or plasters or something like that. I'm not sure what to call them. Just sort of but there was one on the door back there, and it just chuck the keg at it. Rayman likes to auto-lock onto it, so you shouldn't really miss it. And there are some situations later on where I'm sure I'm going to miss those things. God, I wish I knew what they were called, or whatever. Okay, another laser door, and the switch is on this wall here, but we've got this little springy rope trampoline at the bottom, and that opens the door up here. Oh, it wasn't a laser door, it was just a regular door. My bad. Head on through here, and we're now on the same level as... oh, hello. Well done, you shot into the balcony there. Very, very helpful. Good aim you have there. But yeah, no, we're now on the same level as the robot pirate and the switch in the distance there. But first, yellow lums hidden back here at the end of the corridor. Anything down here? I guess it's just showing the path below. Whatever. We're going to head down there anyway in a minute, so don't need to look through the floor. Okay, purple pirates have a charge shot, which does a bit more damage to us. But also they have more health. These ones take, I think, 6 hits to kill right now, which is quite a lot, really. I'm sure that they take less hits to kill the more you upgrade your abilities, as you might imagine. But yeah, right now, even the purple pirates are quite difficult to deal with. Later on, I think we can just one-shot them if we get enough upgrades to our shot ability. But yeah, right now we're a peasant. We have no skills. Okay, so onwards to the rest of this pirate facility. Saving? Games? Do I want to save the game? That's the $1,000,000 question. Diddly-diddly-did, no. Okay, further into the pirates facility here. There's random horizontal lasers, just easy platforming. And I think there's a pirate just hidden on this corner here. Stuck around the wall to avoid the shots. Got the sort of cover. You shoot from your right hand, so hide behind walls on your left. That's generally a thing. Also, what the hell's going on with this? What's going on with this TV? Space! The final frontier! No, moving at warp speed for some reason. I assume that's not meant to be TV static, but not a very good effect. Okay, this is a particularly iconic room. This is full of like prison cells and cages, but this is a room that they sort of enhanced from previous versions. I think in the PS1 version especially, at least that's what I remember. It's just like a big like open canyon-like room. It's just another grassy area, but they did a good job upgrading this room in this version to have all these prison cells. I'm just going to do a quick sweep of the room because there are yellow lums, I think, in every single cell, so make sure you pay attention to that. And hello, Lee. Yes, I forgot to acknowledge your existence, but this is where Lee is being held captive in some kind of weird force field. So I see you, yellow lum, there. How do I get you? I guess I'll just climb up this ladder. There we go. Yep, easy. And there's more cells this way on the ground floor. I'm just going to quickly show off what this area looked like in the original versions. I find it quite interesting how they improved the room style to be more fitting of a prison. It's quite well done. Okay, more lums in here. Just go around the perimeter of the room. Okay, I think that's everything. All the lums from the cells. And there's another hidden cage down here. This looks like you shouldn't be able to stand on it. It looks like hazardous water, but nope, we can just run on top of it. I guess it's just grass or something. Maybe polluted grass. Don't know if that's how it works.
Rayman, find the machine and destroy it.
Okay, so that is our objective. We need to find a machine and destroy it, which will free Lee from captivity. That rhymes. And here we have a good section that teaches us more about powder kegs and what we can do with them. So the game has now taught us that we can now press the jump button to throw the keg up into the air and catch it again. We're standing underneath it. And there's nothing too bad about this initial travel, this initial running up this pipe. But on this machine that's keeping Lee held captive, there are several of these metal bandage things. I'm just going to call them metal bandages, because why not? I'm sure they have a proper name, but yes, after destroying the first one, it starts to spawn in these flying bomb things. So now we have to make use of that chucking powder kegs into the air thing. And it's quite a cool section to teach you how to do that, is that we can... I've got to wait for the bombs to spawn. Yep, there's one. So, hold it up in the air, make a shot. As long as you stand in the same place, Rayman will catch the keg again. I quite like that. It's quite a nice little slick move. Let's destroy that, and then destroy this thing flying in. Before I destroy the last thing, I just want to jump up here very quickly. No, it's not this one. It's the other one. Okay, make a big jump over to this ledge, and they've sneakily hidden a cage behind it. Don't recall if that was there in any other versions, but... Oh, whoa! Jeez. Didn't expect the bomb to fly backwards there. Yeah, Rayman decided to celebrate for some reason when he freed that one. Doesn't do that every time, but just that one specifically. I guess there's also like a little exploit you can do while carrying the powder kegs. It's kind of cheap, but whatever. Wait, is there another bomb following me? No? Huh. Have they stopped spawning on me for some reason? I don't know. But yeah, we can do a little exploit here. If we stick to the left side of the pipe, I can't remember where I learnt this, but the bomb just hits the fan on that machine over there and just instantly destroys itself. So stand slightly to the left of the pipe and oh, that didn't work. Oh, it did work. Wait, what? I panicked. Sorry. I thought the bomb was flying towards me. I just threw the barrel at it. No. Let's get another keg. No penalty really for doing that. Gives you infinite tries. It's just a nice little tutorial without actually holding your hand. Let's stick to the left again. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know why it does that. It seems like an oversight on the developers' parts that the bombs just get destroyed. Anyway, let's destroy that last thing up there.
Lee, are you okay?
Oh, Rayman, at last. I was afraid Glowbugs.
He gave me the silver lung, but we got separated. I need to find him and get rid of the pirates. But to do that, I'll need all of my powers.
I am too weak to give you back all your powers. They broke the primordial energy core into 1,000 lungs. And combining the energy has become very difficult. But there may be another solution. Have you ever heard of Polygus?
No.
He's the spirit of the world. His power is immense. He could help you defeat the pirates. Unfortunately, he's been sleeping for many years. But there is a legend which says he could be awakened if you reunite the four masks.
The four masks?
These masks are magical and very powerful. They are hidden in secret and mysterious places. Find them, Rayman. It's our only hope. I'll help you by giving you all the energy I've gathered.
we now freed Lee, and she gave us a new power. But she can't give us all our powers back, apparently, because she's a little bit weak at the moment. And the yellow lums we need to collect. Although, no, it's not the yellow lums we need to collect. But, yeah, breaking apart the, whatever it's called, primordial energy core or something, into yellow lums has weakened her powers. Also, that's a bit of deceptive camera work there. Like, heading through... God, the frame rate's dropping considerably in this area for some reason. But yeah, heading through here, looks like there's something hidden to the left. Because on the right you can immediately see a door. And you're like, oh, there's a hidden corridor to the left. Nope, it's just a door set further back. Thanks, game. You've trolled me again. Okay, so now we have the ability to hold on to the purple lums. Also, that's something I didn't point out when you're doing this wall climbing thing, is that you can hold forward and backwards to move. But I don't recall if that's ever used in the game itself. I don't think they use that to its full potential. Because there should have been some situations where there were two walls quite close together and you could just sort of hold your way between them and like move forward and backwards. But no, they only do that for vertical spaces in this game. Bit of a weird underdeveloped ability that you have. Do I want to save? No? No, I don't. Okay, so this is the final phase of the Fairies Glade. I just want to quickly turn around. We're on like a big pipe here, and there's something of relevance around here, but wonder what's relevant about that. I guess we'll have to find out later on. Okay, so this area is where I'm going to complain about the camera. Did you see that camera snap right there? There was no need for that at all. So up here we can control the camera freely and centre it behind ourselves, but as soon as we step onto the end of this pipe, I can't adjust the camera at all anymore. And yeah, this is a kind of nasty camera work right here, because I don't want to miss any of these yellow lums falling down, really. I've got to land this other pipe here, and yep, the camera just randomly starts snapping to different angles. It's not the best camera in the world, this game. And also, Lee powered up our shot energy. Not only can we now latch onto purple lums, but we do more damage. And in fact, it takes 4 less shots to kill the purple robo pirates. So yeah, they definitely improved our power slightly there. And also, I think we can now eliminate green pirates in one hit, which is very, very helpful. They have already become less of a threat already. Gotta make sure I grab all the yellow lums on the way down. Random pots of, like, what are those? They're just full of lava for some reason. I don't know, we can land in them, but they'll kill us. I don't know why they do these weird lava post things. And also the camera keeps turning. I have no control over this at all. This section is particularly bad for the camera work, honestly. Okay, got another purple pirate. No problem whatsoever. Let's just hover down gently and take him out. And there's another cage. Also, you might notice that we're now breaking open cages in one shot, whereas before it would take 2. So yeah, it's very helpful right there. Okay, I don't want to really descend too quickly. Got this weird oily liquid pouring into this room. Don't know what it is. I guess I'm correct when it says it's oil. It's got that weird bluey tint to it. Okay, whoa, camera, don't... Oh, the camera's nasty in this game. Sometimes it just snaps to a random direction. I think it tries to stick behind you at all times, but it gets wedged on walls. Yeah, it just doesn't work that well. Okay, Murphy, tell me what to do here, even though it's pretty obvious.
Rayman? Activate your helicopter in them, and you'll fly.
Okay, final stretch of the Fairies Glade, and probably my least favourite part of the levels, because it's really slow and tedious traversing this room. Particularly on revisits, we have to do this whole thing again. And pirates start descending from above, but we can just take care of them in one hit, because they're green pirates. Hooray! So now we have to go between air current and air current with our helicopter. And also, there are some optional air currents with more lums in them as we press up. There's one over here. Got to drop for this, I think, a bit. It's gonna catch me before I do that. Got to drop into this one and quickly activate my helicopter again to save myself, catch myself. Got these thin air currents that just serve to hold lums in them. So I've been calling them lums, but I know some people pronounce it as looms. this game officially, in the voice-acted versions of Rayman 2, they call them lums, and in Rayman 3 as well, they're also referred to as lums. I think looms is a more modern way of pronouncing it, like from Origins and Legends. I can't actually remember when they started pronouncing it loom. But yeah, I've always referred to them as lums, and it's a hard habit to break. Maybe they're officially called looms, but sorry if it irritates you at all, if I'm pronouncing them incorrectly. But Jesus, camera, why did you shift backwards there? I had the camera focused completely on the air current I want to aim towards. I want to aim towards that one, so let's go towards it, and the camera will now stick in place. Okay, that was weird. It shifted before. I guess maybe to focus on the pirate descending behind me, but whatever, it's a bit better that time. Okay, let's head back on ourselves, and I know there's an air current behind me with some more lums in it. God, the camera is very uncooperative, and this is very slow and tedious ascending this room. And a bit of a mean thing here, we got these purple lums over here, and that's actually the end of the level over there. But if we just turn around quickly, head towards the back of this air current, the camera should shift and show there is a hidden purple lum in a general upwards direction. Jump off that and head into this gap in the wall, where there are a good number of yellow lums and also another cage, which is hanging from the ceiling, right? Where is it? Where is it? Turn the camera. Oh, it's up there. Just above the camera. So that's all the familiar spirits we have access to at this point in time. We'll have to revisit this level later on for the remaining two with skills that we acquire later in the game. And there are 10 yellow lums that we can't grab yet. And that's all we can do for now. Let's jump on over here. And at the end of every level we have another cage. This one doesn't contain a familiar spirit, but it contains a Teensy.
Rayman, listen carefully. The pirates have captured loads of teensies. Free them. Each time you free one, he will take you to a teensy circle. From this circle, you can return to worlds we have already visited by going through a magic spiral door.
Okay, so that's the end of the Fairies Glade. Just have to walk this teensy to this wide open space here and watch the amazing dance. Man, that brings back so many memories. Doing that random dance at the end of the level to open the spiral door. It's just really, I remember that so fondly. It's quite funny. Anyway, it says access denied because we can get a bonus level after every level, but we have to collect everything in that level to access it, and we don't have access to some of the collectibles just yet. But that's fine. There'll be some situations later on where I will be able to show off the bonus levels. They're completely optional, the bonus levels. Don't need to do them at all. I think they just refill your health if you complete them properly, but I didn't need to do that anyway. No, I don't want to save the game, and we're back at the Teensy Circle on the Minisaurus plane. They do their little jig, and open up the portal to the Fairies Glade that we can revisit.
They told me to help you find the four maps. I know that the first one is in the temple on the Lost Island. This is the only one who can take you, but the pirates have captured him. He's being held in the bayou near the marshland.
Okay, so that is our next objective. Well, we now know that we need to go find the four masks to awaken Polycus, which is just a random MacGuffin thing, I guess. Send you on a quest to find the 4 masks, and yeah, that's pretty much the plot of the game. Go find these 4 masks and free everyone along the way. So, we now know our next objective is to head to the bayou to overpronounce that bayou massively there. But we need to go free Bzit, who will then take us to the Lost Island. And the bayou just so happens to be down this way, but we'll head to the bayou in the next episode. Let me just head quickly over to the marshy area. And also, we can grab, the weird animations going down those steps there. So yeah, back here we have a randomly marshy area. Another checkpoint lum there. Green one's a checkpoint, so I don't think I mentioned that. But yeah. Okay, but now we have the ability to hang on purple rings, and that also means that we can now get the remaining yellow lums in the Minisaurus plain area. This is the way to the Marshes of Awakening. We could do that level right now, but there's no real point to us doing it. But in the next episode, I didn't know you could climb up there. But in the next episode, we'll head over this way and head to the bayou. And that Yahoo means we've collected everything. I might have mentioned it before. But yeah, that's it for now. In the next episode, the bayou. A bayou for now.